We spent some time in past deep dives, talking about how flexibility and strength training can help with knee pain. But today, we're going to kind of switch gears and focus on two factors that often, I think, fly under the radar: weight and posture.
It's amazing, really, how much those aspects can influence knee health.
It really is. And just to set the stage for everyone listening, let's talk about the sheer force our knees handle on a daily basis. Every single pound of body weight translates to roughly 4 pounds of pressure on your knee joints.
Yeah, and that pressure multiplies during activities like climbing stairs, where it can be up to 7 times your body weight. So it's no wonder our knees can sometimes start to feel the strain, over time.
Totally. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. How does excess weight contribute to knee problems? Is it solely about that increased pressure, or is there more to it?
Well, the pressure is definitely a significant factor, but it's not the whole story. Think about your cartilage, right? That acts like a cushion in the knee joint. When there's excess weight, that cartilage gets overloaded and it wears down faster than it can actually regenerate.
So it's like constantly driving on a bumpy road.
Right.
Eventually, the shocks are going to wear out.
Precisely. And this breakdown of cartilage leads to a whole cascade of issues: inflammation, pain, and, in some cases, osteoarthritis.
Right, that makes sense. What about everyday activities like walking uphill or standing for long periods? Do those exacerbate the problem?
Absolutely. Anything that increases the load on your knees is going to speed up that wear and tear process. Research from the Arthritis Foundation highlights just how much of a difference even modest weight loss can make. They found that losing just 10 pounds can reduce knee stress by up to 40 pounds.
Wow, 40 pounds. That's a pretty big reduction. Yeah. It's incredible how even small changes can have such a big impact. But you mentioned earlier, it's not just the amount of weight, but also where it's carried. Can you explain that? What do you mean by that?
Certainly. The location of that excess weight plays a crucial role. For instance, if you're carrying extra weight in your abdomen, it shifts your center of gravity forward. And that ends up putting more strain on your knees. Your body's constantly working to compensate for that imbalance.
So it's kind of like walking around with a weight out in front of you, yeah, like all the time. Could this also be why some people develop that like waddling gait? Are they subconsciously kind of adjusting their balance?
You hit the nail on the head. That altered gait can lead to even more stress on the joints, contributing to further wear and tear. It really becomes a vicious cycle.
Okay, so we've kind of explored the impact of weight. Now let's shift our focus to posture. I know, I'm definitely guilty of slouching at my desk, and I've heard that can affect your knees. How does that actually work?
Well, good posture ensures that your body weight is distributed evenly across your joints and muscles. But poor posture, whether it's from slouching or hyperextending your knees or even like misaligned feet, it disrupts that balance.
And then what happens when that balance is thrown off?
Well, your knees end up taking on more pressure than they should, and over time, this can lead to chronic pain and speed up that joint degeneration we were talking about earlier.
So even when you're just sitting or standing, like poor posture is kind of like constantly putting extra stress on those knees.
hmm
Are there any specific postural patterns that people should be aware of as like potential red flags?
Absolutely. There are a few key things to look out for, like knee hyperextension, knock knees, which is medically known as genu valgum, and even wearing unsupportive shoes. Let's start with knee hyperextension, which is when your knees kind of lock back.
Oh, knee hyperextension. I think I do that sometimes. Is it always a bad thing?
Well, occasional knee hyperextension, it might not be a big deal, but if it's a consistent pattern, it can really stress your knee joint. It often happens in people with like weak hamstrings or tight quadriceps, creating an imbalance that pulls on the knee joint and forces it into that hyperextended position.
So it's like this constant tug of war around the knee.
Yeah.
And the like hyperextension side is winning.
That's a good way to visualize it. And over time, that constant pulling can wear down the cartilage, leading to pain and instability.
That makes sense. What about knock knees? I remember being teased about those as a kid.
Knock knees, or genial valgum, occurs when your knees angle inward, even when your feet are together. It can stem from various factors like genetics, weak muscles, or even vitamin deficiencies. This issue is that knock knees alter how weight is distributed across your knee joint, concentrating the stress on one side.
So it's as if like one side of your knee is doing all the heavy lifting.
Exactly. That uneven distribution can speed up wear and tear on that side of the joint, increasing the risk of pain and injury. And we can't forget about bow legs, also known as genuvarum. It's basically the opposite of knock knees, where the knees bow outwards. And it can lead to similar problems with uneven weight distribution and, added stress on the joint.
So whether your knees point in or out, it can spell trouble down the road. We've covered hyperextension, knock knees, and bow legs. What about shoes? How do those factor into the equation?
Your feet are your foundation, literally. If that foundation is unstable, it can impact your entire alignment, including your knees. Wearing shoes without adequate support, especially if you have flat feet, can cause your ankles and knees to kind of collapse inwards, just like we were talking about earlier.
It's like trying to build a skyscraper on sand, not a recipe for stability. You mentioned flat feet. Can you expand on how those can lead to knee problems?
Absolutely. When your arches collapse, it throws off the alignment of your ankles and knees, causing them to turn inwards. This puts extra stress on the inner part of your knee joint, leading to pain and instability.
Okay. So it's clear that posture plays a huge role in knee health. But what can people do to actually assess their own posture? Are there, any simple checks they can do at home?
There are a few easy self-assessments you can try. One is to stand against a wall with your head, shoulders, and heels touching it. Check for any gaps at your lower back or knees, as those can indicate misalignment.
Oh, that's a good tip. I'm going to try that later. Anything else?
Another simple check is to observe yourself in a full-length mirror. Look for things like, inward turning knees, one hip higher than the other, or a rounded upper back. These are all clues that your posture might need some attention.
It seems like awareness is that first step towards making some positive changes. But let's move on to solutions. What can people actually do to address those muscle imbalances that contribute to poor posture and knee pain?
It's a two-pronged approach, strengthening weak muscles and stretching tight ones. For instance, weak glutes are a common culprit. Exercises like hip bridges, clamshells, or resistance band lateral walks can help strengthen those muscles and improve hip and knee alignment.
So it's not just about, hitting the gym and lifting heavy weights, but about kinda working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And on the flip side, scruffing is crucial for those tight muscles. When your muscles are tight, they pull on your joints and restrict your movement. So, for tight hamstrings, try some simple stretches like touching your toes or doing a downward facing dog.
Ooh, I love downward dog. It always feels so good.
Hmm.
What other muscles should people focus on stretching?
Don't forget about your hip flexors. Those can get really tight from sitting for extended periods, which can contribute to lower back pain and knee problems. Stretches like pigeon pose or lunges can help loosen those up.
So it's all about finding that balance, right? Between strengthening and stretching to create that optimal alignment. But beyond exercise, are there any practical things people can do in their daily lives to improve their posture and protect their knees?
Absolutely. Paying attention to your footwear is a simple but often overlooked factor. Make sure you're wearing shoes that offer good arch support and cushioning, particularly if you have flat feet or spend a lot of time on your feet.
Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of sacrificing support for style in my shoe choices. I'll need to step up my shoe game. What else?
Being mindful of your workspace is another key factor. Ensure your desk and chair are ergonomically designed to promote good posture. Consider a standing desk or taking regular breaks to move around and stretch.
Yeah, it's so easy to get absorbed in work and forget to take those breaks.
It happens to the best of us, but those breaks are vital for preventing stiffness and maintaining good posture.
It's amazing how these seemingly small habits can have such a significant impact on our health. It's all about making those conscious choices that support our bodies in the long run, right? But we focus primarily on the physical aspects of knee pain. What about the psychological side of things? Does that play a role at all?
Absolutely. Chronic pain can have a huge impact on your mental and emotional well-being. And the reverse is also true. Stress and negative emotions can intensify pain perception. It's a really complex and often overlooked connection.
So it becomes like this vicious cycle. The pain leads to stress, which then leads to more pain.
Exactly. One common issue we see is a fear of movement or kinesiophobia in people dealing with chronic knee pain.
Kinesiophobia. That sounds kind of intimidating. What does that actually involve?
It's a fancy term, but the problem is very real. People with kinesiophobia develop a fear of moving because they worry it will worsen their pain. Ironically, avoiding movement often leads to muscle weakness and reduced flexibility, which can actually exacerbate knee pain over time.
Oh, so they're trapped in this cycle of fear and inactivity. What can be done to help people kind of break free from that?
Gradual exposure to safe, low-impact exercises is key. Things like swimming, water aerobics, or even gentle walking can help individuals regain confidence in their bodies and reduce their fear of movement.
It sounds like addressing the emotional component of chronic pain is just as crucial as addressing the physical symptoms.
Absolutely. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, or even talking to a therapist can help people manage the stress and anxiety that often accompany chronic pain. It's about treating the whole person, not just the physical symptoms.
All of this is incredibly helpful information, but I'm sure some listeners are dealing with knee pain that goes, beyond simple aches and stiffness. What about more like advanced treatment options? What if lifestyle changes and those basic exercises aren't providing enough relief?
Well, depending on the severity of the pain and the underlying cause, there are certainly more advanced interventions available.
Such as fill us in.
One option is cortisone injections. These are powerful anti-inflammatories that can be injected directly into the knee joint to reduce swelling and pain.
I've heard of those. How effective are they?
They can offer temporary relief, but it's important to note that they're not a long-term solution. Overuse of cortisone injections can actually weaken the cartilage over time.
So it's more of a band-aid than a cure. Are there any other options?
Another possibility is viscosupplementation. This involves injecting hyaluronic acid into the knee joint to improve lubrication and cushion the joint.
Hyaluronic acid. That sounds familiar. Isn't that used in skincare products too?
Yes, it is. It's a naturally occurring substance that helps lubricate our joints. As we age, the amount of hyaluronic acid in our joints decreases, contributing to stiffness and pain. So viscosupplementation can help replenish those levels and improve joint function.
It's like giving your knees a little tune-up. But what about cases where those treatments aren't enough? Are there any surgical options available?
Of course, surgery is always a last resort. But for severe cases, it can be a viable option. For instance, a total knee replacement involves removing the damaged parts of the knee joint and replacing them with artificial components made of metal and plastic. It's a major surgery, but it can be life-changing for those with severe arthritis or debilitating knee pain.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like getting a brand new knee.
Oh, it's a remarkable procedure. But it's crucial to remember that surgery should always be considered a last resort. There are many things people can do to manage knee pain and improve joint health before resorting to surgery.
It sounds like it's all about, exploring all the options and finding the best approach for each individual.
Exactly. And let's not forget about alternative therapies that can be beneficial in managing knee pain.
Like what? Tell me more.
Options like acupuncture, massage therapy, and chiropractic care have shown promise in providing relief for some individuals.
Yeah, I've heard good things about acupuncture. How does it actually work for knee pain?
Acupuncture involves inserting thin needles into specific points on the body to stimulate energy flow and promote healing. It's been used for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine, and there's growing scientific evidence supporting its effectiveness for pain relief.
So it's not just some mystical, esoteric practice.
Not at all. While the exact mechanisms are still being studied, evidence suggests that acupuncture can reduce inflammation, release endorphins, and block pain signals in the brain.
That's fascinating. What about massage therapy?
Massage can be incredibly helpful for relaxing muscles, improving circulation, and reducing pain. A skilled massage therapist can target specific muscles around the knee to release tension and enhance mobility.
I think we could all use a good massage right now.
Sure.
What about chiropractic care?
Chiropractors specialize in the alignment of the spine and joints. They can often help address underlying postural issues that contribute to knee pain.
So it's like getting your whole body back into alignment.
Precisely. It's about taking a holistic approach to pain management and addressing all the potential factors contributing to your discomfort.
I love that approach. It's not just about masking the symptoms, but really getting to the root of the problem. We've covered a lot of ground today. Weight, posture, exercises, advanced treatments, alternative therapies. It's a lot to take in. What are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Well, first and foremost, your body is a complex, interconnected system. What you do in one area can affect other parts, so a holistic approach to your health is crucial.
It all comes back to that domino effect we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And never underestimate the power of even seemingly small changes. Adjustments to your diet, exercise routine, or posture can have a significant positive impact on your overall well-being and knee health.
And if those smaller changes aren't enough, it's essential not to hesitate in seeking professional help. There are so many resources available. Doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely. Finding a healthcare provider who truly listens to you and understands your individual needs is paramount in developing the right treatment plan.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I've learned so much about the intricate connection between weight, posture, and knee pain. It's empowering to realize how much we can do to support our bodies and potentially prevent or manage pain.
It's been my pleasure. Knowledge is power, and the more you understand about your body, the better equipped you are to take care of it.
Wise words. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this episode with some final thoughts. Stay tuned. We're back for the final leg of our deep dive into weight, posture, and knee pain. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to, stand up a little taller and maybe even do a few squats.
That's the spirit. Small changes, they can really add up over time. And speaking of time, I want to leave our listeners with a thought about, the long game, specifically how aging kind of impacts knee health.
Oh, you mean besides the fact that our knees probably hear more and more dad jokes as we get older?
Well, there's that too. But on a serious note, as we age, the cartilage naturally thins and our ligaments lose elasticity. This makes our knees, more vulnerable to strain and injury, even if we've been mindful of our weight and posture throughout our lives.
So it's like our knees warranty starts to run out, no matter how well we've treated them. That's a little disheartening.
It is a natural part of aging, but, we're not completely helpless. Maintaining a healthy weight, engaging in low-impact exercises, and sticking with those smart lifestyle choices we discussed, those can help slow down that wear and tear process.
So it's all about playing the long game and kind of setting ourselves up for success as we age gracefully. Speaking of success, are there any common myths about weight and posture as they relate to knee health that you'd like to, debunk before we wrap up?
Oh, absolutely. One really prevalent myth is that you need to lose a massive amount of weight to see any benefit for your knees. People might think, well, I'm never going to run a marathon, so what's the point of shedding a few pounds? But the truth is, even modest weight loss, like 5 or 10% of your body weight, can significantly reduce stress on your knees and improve your mobility.
That's encouraging. Every little bit counts.
Yeah.
What are some other myths you encounter?
Another misconception is that good posture is only about standing up straight. People might assume, well, I stand tall when I remember, so my posture must be fine. But dynamic posture, how you move throughout your day is equally important. How you lift heavy objects, how you walk, how you sit at your desk, it all adds up.
So it's not just about striking a pose, but being mindful of how we're moving, all the time. What else?
A lot of people believe knee pain is purely a structural issue, like something's physically broken or worn out. But the truth is, muscle imbalances, improper footwear, and those everyday habits we've been discussing can either, cause or alleviate pain.
So it's not just about our hardware, our bones and cartilage, but also our software, our muscles, our habits, our awareness.
Well said. Addressing all those factors is really key to preventing and managing knee pain effectively.
This has been such an incredibly insightful deep dive. We've explored everything from, the mechanics of our knees to the psychology of pain and those pesky myths that can hold us back. I feel like I've earned an honorary degree in knee health.
I think you have. But in all seriousness, I hope our listeners feel empowered to take charge of their knee health. Remember, it's never too late to start making positive changes.
And on that note, it's important to remember that this deep dive is just a starting point. We've given you a lot to consider and some tools to, get started, but it's always wise to consult with, healthcare professionals for personalized guidance.
Absolutely. Don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor, a physical therapist, or other qualified healthcare providers to get an individual assessment and create a plan that's tailored to your specific needs.
And as always, keep that curiosity alive. There's a world of knowledge out there about our bodies and how to keep them moving smoothly throughout life. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those knees happy.
See you in the next deep dive.